Hi, I'm Chris Naughton with ACURA. I'm here to tell you about the 2008 ACURA MDX. About a year ago it was completely redesigned. The style actually took quite a departure from the previous generation in that it became much more emotional design, much more aggressive. It was actually patterned after a high-speed powerboat. That was the theme behind the design and the style. You can see it's got a very aggressive shield style grille, no mistaking that. And then as you go down the side, it's got prominent wheel bulges around each of the wheels or fender flares. It's also got 18-inch wheels. That's actually the largest wheel ever equipped on an ACURA. And then as you continue down, you'll notice that the styling, the roofline tapers down in the rear end and actually disguises the fact that it's a 3-row SUV. I think at first glance it looks like just a 2-row SUV with it fairly compact dimensions, but it's got a very wide stance for excellent handling, and also just kind of gives it a look that it's hunkered down to the ground style-wise. So now why don't I show you the inside. You can actually open up the tailgate with the remote. You can open and close it with that. It's a keyless entry for the tailgate. And once you're inside, you can see it's a very large cargo area. There's actually a spot down here for storing valuables. Right under here, you can hide quite a bit under there. And then the third row seats actually pull back very easily. You just lean in and pull on this handle, and the leverage point makes it easy to get those both up there. They fold very cleanly, and one of the reasons is because they have a nested headrest right here. So those nest down in and make those seats fold down nice and flat. To fold them back down, it's a simple one motion where you push it away from you after pulling the lever. So now I'll go ahead and put these both back up, and you'll be able to see that there's quite a bit of cargo space back here when it's set up as a 3-row SUV. To shut the tailgate, you can just touch on this button here. If at any time when it's going down, if it comes to an obstacle, it'll actually reverse and go back up. Whether it just senses pressure or the weather stripping around the perimeter will also sense if a finger were in there, it'll reverse direction. Why don't I go ahead and show you the inside. So in the second row, you can see that the accommodations, we really tried to elevate it to a new level. The previous MDX just had essentially a bench seat back here. This is much more contoured. And in fact, you can see for 2 passengers back here, it's a very sculpted seat with good side bolstering. The handling on the MDX is excellent, and so having good side bolstering is key. So the seating is 4+3, which actually kind of means you've got 4 passengers that have true bucket seats, and then remaining 3 passengers as needed. And then also for these rear passengers, these seats actually do recline, and you've got a couple, incline levels to choose from there. And then you can also see up here, we've got a rear navigation system with a 9-inch screen. We've also got wireless headphones, a wireless remote up here, and then for the rear seat passengers, we've actually got a additional climate zone where you can control the temperature, and you can actually put inputs here for video games for the rear seat passengers. And then also in the back here, we've got an armrest that goes down between the 2 rear passengers, very comfortable and padded, but also has a pop-out cup holder to help hold drinks. So as you can see, I'm going to show you the second row being folded. The third row already is folded, and when you've got both the third row and the second row folded, you've got a fairly flat load floor that's easy for sliding large objects in and out. So now we're looking at the interior of the car. You can see that it's a very driver-oriented. It's actually a cockpit design that's meant to wrap around the driver, but then also wrap around the passenger. You've got the primary controls over here down the center, where you control everything from the audio to the ventilation to the navigation system. Also, the automatic has a sport shift function, where when you actually bump this down into drive, you can drive it in full automatic. If you push it over to the side here where the M is, then you can actually bump it up and down with gear changes. And the thing there is you are totally in control. If you bump it into second gear, you can rev it all the way up to the red line, it'll stay in second gear. And then also you see this switch here that says comfort. When that's illuminated green, it means comfort, and when it's not illuminated, it means sport. That actually controls the sport suspension system that's got active dampers that will become much firmer on the sport setting and give it very sporty handling, whereas when you go for the comfort setting, much more comfortable ride. And then under here, you've actually got a kind of a barn door style compartment under the console, and yet when it's closed, you've got plenty of room for elbows for both the driver and the passenger to have plenty of room to spread out. I mentioned that the seats in the rear are similar to these and that they're bucket seats with very good bolstering. because the handling limits, you definitely want to be held in place when you're pushing the limits of driving in this car. I didn't talk about the drivetrain yet, but the drivetrain is actually a 3.7 liter V6 engine with 300 horsepower. That's actually the most powerful engine ever offered in an ACURA, and yet returns very good fuel economy at 15 city and 20 on the highway. So I talked about the other features of the car, but with any Honda or Acura, safety is very much part of the story because it's something we're committed to. We actually have a commitment called Safety for Everyone that includes a full suite of standard safety features, and the Acura MDX is no exception. It's got a long list of standard safety features: driver and passenger airbag, 2 side airbags for the driver and passenger, and then also side curtain airbags that protect all 3 rows of passengers. It's also got what we call an ACE compatibility structure in the front, which addresses the mismatch between vehicles of different sizes. So whether larger or smaller, the ACE body structure is this broad structure in the front of the vehicle designed to engage and channel energy around the passenger compartment. And then also, something that's very exciting about the MDX that contributes to its unbelievable handling is the SH all-wheel drive system. That's actually an Acura exclusive. It made its debut on the Acura RDX, and now it's offered on our other SUV for Acura. And SH all-wheel drive, what it does is actually it can distribute torque and power between the front and the rear axles, and when it sends it to the rear axle, it can actually overdrive the outside rear wheel, which naturally helps the vehicle go through a turn like it's on rails. So there you have it. This is the 2008 Acura MDX. Please go to a dealership and check it out. I think you'll enjoy driving it. My name is Chris Naughton with Acura Public Relations.
Oh.